person who flooded you with attention in the first 3 weeks was not falling for you. They were constructing a debt you never agreed to. Every good morning text, every claim you were different, every moment they made themselves the center of your world. This was not affection. It was infrastructure. They were laying traps so that when they stopped, you would have nowhere to go but toward them. And you did. You were not in a relationship by week 8. You were in a maintenance job you never applied for, working overtime to earn back a warmth designed to be temporary. The withdrawal was not a change of heart. It was the second phase. The first phase made you need them. The second phase made you prove it. You are thinking they just lost interest. That is the story you need to believe. It protects you from the simpler truth. The cruelest part is you will remember the beginning as the real thing, even though it was the most calculated. The feeling did not fade. It ended exactly on schedule, the moment it had you. You were simply never told the schedule existed. Now you wait for a refund on a debt you never signed for. I have watched this pattern originate in the homes where love arrived as a reward and withdrew as punishment. The child learns that affection is not a condition of being but a currency to be earned, spent and withheld. They internalize the economy before they understand it. The parent who was warm on Tuesday and distant on Wednesday taught them that closeness is a variable, not a constant, and that the variable is controlled by someone else. They grow into adults who replicate this architecture deliberately, because it is the only architecture they trust. Intimacy without instability feels counterfeit to them. They do not know what to do with a person who stays warm. It makes them anxious. They need the fluctuation to feel real. The evolutionary mechanism underneath is simpler than the psychology suggests. Attention is a resource. Concentrated attention signals status, safety, and selection. The human nervous system is not calibrated for abundance of this kind. It is calibrated for scarcity and vigilance. When attention arrives in overwhelming quantities, the system does not register it as a red flag. It registers it as a windfall. The error is ancient. The predator who does not announce himself has an advantage over the one who does. The person who floods you with attention in week 2 is exploiting a vulnerability that predates language. You are thinking of someone else right now. That is the protection working. In practice, the pattern has a specific shape. They remember details you did not expect them to remember. They mirror your preferences before you have fully stated them. They create a sense of accelerated intimacy through frequency and disclosure, not through time. They tell you they have never felt this way. They mean it, in the moment they say it. The feeling is real to them because the feeling is the tool. They are not lying. They are using themselves as an instrument. By week 4, they have established a baseline of contact that would be unsustainable for anyone who was not performing. By week 6, they begin to miss a message. They have a reason. The reason is plausible. By week 8, the warmth is conditional on your performance. You are apologizing for things you cannot name. You are sending longer messages to shorter replies. You are auditing your own behavior to find the error that caused the shift. The error was not in your behavior. The error was in your assumption that the warmth was a preview of the standard service, not a limited time offer. The intelligent person does not escape this. They dress it differently. They have read the attachment theory summaries. They can name anxious, preoccupied, and dismissive avoidant. They use this vocabulary to explain why they are still checking their phone at 2 in the morning. The language of psychology has given them a sophisticated set of reasons to remain exactly where they are. They say they are processing. They say they are doing the work. What they are doing is the same thing anyone else would do. They are waiting for a person who has already demonstrated the pattern to spontaneously abandon it. The intelligence is in the service of the stillness. The high achiever has their own version. They are accustomed to earning through effort. The withdrawal registers as an unsolved problem. They apply the same focus that built their career to the project of restoring the early attention. They do not recognize that this is the exact dynamic the other person needed. The high achiever's need to win is indistinguishable, to the other person, from genuine attachment. The high achiever does not know whether they are proving their worth or proving their need. They do both simultaneously. The person who has read about this pattern and believes they are immune to it is often the most available target. They have intellectualized their way out of awareness. They can describe the mechanism in someone else's relationship with perfect accuracy. They cannot see it in their own because they believe that naming it is the same as escaping it. What it costs is not the obvious thing. The obvious thing is time, energy, the slow erosion of self-respect. The hidden cost is more specific. It is the corruption of your own signal system. You learn to distrust warmth when it arrives. You learn to chase coldness as proof of authenticity. You develop a preference for relationships that require labor, because relationships that do not require labor feel like traps you have not yet discovered. You become a person who cannot receive love without suspicion, and cannot articulate this without sounding broken. You are not broken. You are calibrated to a frequency that was never meant to sustain connection. The calibration persists, even when the source is gone. I do not have this pattern. I have only watched it. What I find remarkable is how little knowing that changes anything for the person who does. The relationship cost accumulates in years, not in events. You do not notice the narrowing, the friends you stopped seeing because they asked questions you did not want to answer, the family you withdrew from because their stability made your instability visible, the hobbies you abandoned because they did not produce the feedback you had learned to need. By the time you understand what the pattern took, you have built a life around the absence. The absence feels like structure. The absence feels like loyalty. The absence is just absence. The moment of late understanding usually arrives in one of two forms. Either you see the same pattern in someone you care about, and the clarity you have for them throws your own history into relief. Or you encounter a person who simply stays warm, and the wrongness of that experience reveals how thoroughly you have been trained. Neither moment is comfortable. Both arrive too late to be fully useful. Awareness does not dissolve the pattern. This is the inevitability I have observed. Knowing the mechanism does not stop the mechanism. The person who understands the debt was constructed still waits for the refund. The waiting is not a choice. It is a reflex installed before choice was possible. The rare exception is not the person who understands. It is the person who understands and experiences the pattern failing in real time, repeatedly, until the nervous system updates its prediction. This requires more repetitions than most people permit themselves. It requires staying in situations that feel wrong because they feel too easy, too stable, too little like what you have learned to call love. Most people do not stay. They return to the familiar fluctuation and call it passion. They are not wrong. It is passionate. It is also the same loop. You will tell yourself that the beginning was real and the end was the anomaly. This is the final protection. The beginning was the most controlled part. The end was the part they did not have to perform anymore. You are mourning a theatre production. The actors have left the stage. You are still standing in the empty seats, waiting for the curtain call, convinced that if you applaud long enough, someone will return and explain what happened. No one returns. The schedule existed. You were not told. That is the point.